name is Gabby and I'm founder of Diversity Alliance and I'm your co-host for today. This month's campaign is all around Mental Health Awareness Month. And we've already talked about mental health and well-being within the workplace, but we're going to cover a topic today which I think is very applicable for today's times. It's something that's not discussed enough. And I feel it's something that really impacts our well-being and our stress levels that we don't take seriously enough. And we're going to be talking about financial health and financial well-being. And I think with the cost of living crisis that's happening at the moment, rising prices across the board, mortgages, rents going up, interest rates, all those things. I think there's no better time to really look at how we can create financial wellness, stability, and resilience for ourselves. And as usual, I'm going to describe what I look like and what I'm wearing. So I've got brown skin, I've got long, dark brown hair with some blonde highlights in it. I'm wearing a green and kind of yellow long sleeved shirt. I've got a gold chain on. My background is beige and I've got my plant chairs here with me. And I've got a little pink kind of a picture poking out the side of me today. So I've got lots of different pictures around my room and I'm kind of been moving them around to change the vibe a little bit. So that's me. But you know, enough from me. We want to hear from our fantastic guest for this week, Jessie. Jessie, nice to see you. Would you mind just briefly introducing yourself for us?
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm Jessie. I'm the founder of How I Fund This, which is a personal finance community helping others transform their relationship with money and feel more confident making those financial decisions. And then in terms of what I look like, I've got mid-length black hair. Today I'm wearing a stripy top and in my background, it's like a nice purpley colour. You can see outside my window and there's a globe behind me as well.
Oh, lovely. Thank you for sharing that. And I want to kick off actually just with you maybe sharing why you decided to set up How I Fund This and what you kind of do and how you kind of like support and advise and offer guidance to people around sort of financial health and well-being and resilience.
Yeah, for sure. So I started How I Fund This in 2020 and I have always really enjoyed reading about personal finances and reading other people's content. So there was that natural synergy there. And I really wanted to share my personal finance story anonymously, and that's how it began. And the reception that I received was so positive, and it continues to be so positive today. But over time, that has evolved to actually helping other people look at their finances, try and improve their relationship with money and how they view money as well. So a lot of my content is on my website and on Instagram, where it all started. And I have this ethos that actually I won't ever tell you how to spend your money. I won't say to you, you can't have that or you should be doing this. I'll be giving you the pointers in the right direction to make those decisions yourself, because that helps you grow with your financial confidence. But also it's not up to me to tell you what to do with your money at the end of the day. And I wouldn't want to be that person.
But it's all about having that education and that awareness piece, right? And I'm still absolutely amazed that we do not learn at school how to budget, how to manage our finances, what an overdraft is, what interest is, you know, all of those things, pensions, retirement. I just find it absolutely amazing. That's something we should be taught in schools that's actually blooming useful. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, better late than never. So thank God for people like yourself. I'm going to jump in straight away. And I guess because top of the kind of agenda for a lot of people and quite high up in the kind of stress area is the cost of living crisis at the moment. Many people being really, really affected by this. And I was wondering if there were any kind of practical steps or strategies that people can use to kind of effectively manage, I guess, their expenses, try and bring about a little bit of financial stability. What are the kind of first things that people could do to kind of start on that journey?
I think know your numbers. I think it's really easy to bury your head in the sand. And when things are very difficult across the board, I can understand why people choose not to and think, well, actually, it's better if I don't know my numbers. But I always believe that knowledge is key. So know how much you need to make each month to cover all of your essentials. get into the habit of checking your bank balance regularly. It shouldn't be a task where you feel frightened to check it. It's not about that. It's making sure that you're not having direct debits that you weren't aware of going out of your bank account, or it's, you know, or making, or any scams or anything like that. It's just having that awareness there and then. And also one of the most useful things that you can do is create a budget for yourself. And it doesn't need to be, and it shouldn't be restrictive. People hear the word budget and they almost automatically think it needs to be restrictive for it to work, and that is not the case at all. Create a realistic budget that works for you. So that will be making sure that your bills and your essentials are covered, which goes back to knowing your numbers, and making room for fun. So if you really enjoy that daily coffee that you have and it's something that really sparks joy for you, then make room for it in your budget. And, you know, do that, because that's really going to help you, and that's going to help you manage your expenses and feel on top of it as well.
Like navigate the emotional aspects of kind of money management. Are there things that they can do within themselves, or different tools that they can use to kind of support that, the emotional aspect more so than the practical steps?
I think at the moment it's so crucial that we try and do this, because there's so much going on with the cost of living crisis, and it can feel very heavy, very overwhelming as well. I think look to how you can get that outlet out. So is it talking to a loved one, somebody who you really trust, about those worries? Because I always believe that, you know, sharing a problem really helps, and money is often considered this taboo subject, but you'd be very surprised at how many people are going through similar things. I mean, I get a lot of DMs about people who are going through their own situation, and you know, there's so many of us right now doing it, and I think actually now is quite a good time to be having those open conversations, because money is in the news a lot, so it is affecting all of us in some way, and you don't have to delve any more than you want to, or any more than you feel comfortable with. So for example, I have a friend who said to me, oh, the interest rates are really affecting how I'm feeling about remortgaging in a couple of months. Now, she didn't actually say, this is how much I owe on my house, this is my mortgage, and this is my current rate. She was taking something that was already in the news and applying it to her, and almost saying to me, this is how I feel about it, this is something that I'm worried about, without ever going into any specifics. And I think that was a really clever way for her to bring that up. And I think when we say talk about money, people think you need to say, well, I owe X amount here, this is my credit card debt, and you don't have to go through all of that if you don't want to.
That's super smart. That is a really good way of reframing it, isn't it? Because
it's really clever. I thought it was so clever how she did it, and I always bring this example up because how she did it was really, it helped me to like understand that the two of us could have an open conversation about money if I wanted to, and if I was worried about something, I could go to her and say, gosh, this is really affecting me at the moment, without having to feel like she was prying or anything like that. So yeah, it's really smart of her, the way she brought it up.
Not that I want to kind of bypass personal responsibility, which sounds really blah, but it takes away that little bit of like, it's all me, it's all my fault that this is happening, that I've got into this situation, or that I'm struggling, and puts it back into the like, it's a circumstance, and then how can we manage the different circumstances? And I think that's a very interesting way of looking at it. And I know that there's like, for a lot of people, when it comes to talking about money and finances and things, there's a lot of shame that can be attached to that. And what are thoughts and feelings, really? They're our own interpretations of how we feel or how we think others view us. If we can flip that into something else, into another narrative, as it were, we can hopefully remove some of that shame and just know it's a moment in time where we're experiencing a challenge and we need to problem solve something and look at how we can move past it, rather than taking it on board as a personal deficiency of some sort, or something that you're not good at, or something that you've messed up on. Remove it from it being the personal, and remember, money is just energy at the end of the day. It comes and goes, and and just getting a different viewpoint on it, if that makes sense.
Also, don't be afraid to have those conversations with people, or even fire off an email saying, by the way, please think about me for any future opportunities or anything like that. Because people can't mind read, and they don't know that you've got that availability or that you want to go after certain things. So use your network, and don't be afraid to self-promote yourself, because no one else is going to do it for you, or no one's going to do it as well as you can. So please don't be afraid, and don't think, oh, that's really embarrassing or whatever. It's not, honestly. And also look to how you can get involved in, I know a few people in the events industry who, like you say, they've branched out to do things themselves, or they have a full-time job and then they run events at the weekend. So if you know people like that, talk to them, see if there's any opportunities that you can get involved in, but also recognize your skills as well. I mean, as somebody in the events industry, I'm guessing a lot of these people are organized, ability to work under pressure, multitask, negotiate, deal with lots of different groups of people at the same time. So many transferable skills. So even if your additional income stream wasn't related to events, let's say you wanted to do something different because you like that variety, or you want to do a different element of events that you're doing currently, there are so many transferable skills there, and don't discredit yourself on those. One thing that I would say about having different income streams, and something that I've had to really help to navigate myself, because I've had lots of different income streams at the same time, is just be aware of burnout as well, and making sure that you're doing it for an enjoyment or a reason, or financially, rather than to the point where you're overtired and actually that's making you ill, because it's not worth it. And I mean that, I'm just mean that in the nicest way. Like, I don't want people to get ill on those things, and just really be aware of that and have that in your mind when you're exploring these options.
Well, thank you so much, Jessie. It's been a really interesting conversation. I love conversations about finances and money and things like that. So I've loved this, and I could have gone on for like literally another hour, but we cannot on this occasion. Maybe we'll come back and do another episode. And we'll be sure to share like some of the information in the description, some of those links that you mentioned, for our listeners and for our viewers. But thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been great.